This is Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych,
man. Mountain Psych. Hey, it's Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych.
Mountain Psych. Conversations
Conversations.
from the mountains.
All right, Frank Duran.
Okay, take two.
Take two.
Take three.
Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the podcast. You know, this is what I've been doing in my spare time. I built this room, and I wanted you to come on because I wanted to actually learn a little bit more about you. And I grew up a few years younger than you, not really knowing what was going on, but I heard about KlassNine.
Yeah.
And a lot of other projects you're working on. So what's been going on for you lately?
Right on, man. Shit, man. So 2008 is when, man, I lost a lot of traction in the snowboard industry. I jumped off a building, missed the swimming pool, shattered both my feet, blew out my knee, broke my hip in two spots, collapsed a lung, and was sitting in the hospital bed. And I was like, I gotta stay relevant in the industry. How am I gonna do this? I started making phone calls, everybody in the industry, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna start pressing boards. And that's kind of where the evolution of pressing snowboards with KlassNine happened. KlassNine originally started as a clothing brand based off of A10 and Trickstar. So when we were in high school, middle school to high school, when I'm saying we, it was Luke Buckley, Adam Borowski, Pete Buckley, Christian Register, Nick Register.
These Buckleys I don't know of because I grew up with a Luke Buckley, but not these Buckleys. I was just talking to a friend about that. He's like, "Oh, Luke Buckley, he's a semi or he does golf.
Yeah,
plays golf, right?
Yeah, golf and has a baby boy, and yeah, man."
That is so strange. All right, go on.
Big V-dub kids, and man, just it's those were the guys I looked up to when I was growing up, and they, they took me under their wing and let me fail into success, and I think that was the biggest part. What really attracted me to snowboarding was it gave me the freedom to fail into success,
right?
And nobody yelled at me.
Yeah.
When I was in school,
Dude,
it was
get back up.
Yeah, organized sports and stuff like that. The coach is like, get up, and you're like, well, what? And then they're like, blow the whistle, and you have to stop. You're like, this is stupid.
Oh yeah, and then you get yelled at personally for fucking up your one assignment. It's like that was your one assignment, and that's all you had to do.
You're all thirsty. Like, shit. But yeah, so it was cool to have those guys around. The creativity, the positivity. It was just, that was what really, really attracted me to that was just, all of us were like, hey, let's go build a jump. Let's go dig a jump. Let's go.
Bring that a little closer to your face.
Those are like the things that really stuck with me. Perfect. And brought me, to be able to have that freedom and give myself permission. Right. To really
and
do
make
things.
Up the, you take that action knowing that, it might not, it could amount to a failure or it could amount to something as big as KlassNine. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and that's the coolest part is that it was, again, failing into success, giving yourself permission. Our group of friends really taught each other that, but we kept each other accountable too. And that's what's really
don't
nice.
be a dude.
Don't be a dick, dude.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Someone, because someone fucks up. You're like, you fucked up before. Don't let know that it's just a fuck up.
Exactly, and don't make it a habit. And I think that's the thing is that every day we see each other and we hold each other accountable, and that's the coolest awesome. Part that we really. Really stuck together because we all fucked up. We all fucking didn't do things right sometimes and had some squabbles in between. But to this day, we're still friends. We're still amazing friends and talk, monthly, if not weekly, if not daily. Which is amazing. And this past December was pretty rough for our group of friends because of Gary Weinman, and I'm sure everybody's kind of heard the story by now. But he was diagnosed with ALS. And it was only about 2.5 years ago. And it moved really, really quick on him. And he was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. He's one of the friends I've never had squabbles with.
And just to fill anyone in that might be listening to this. What is ALS?
So
And,
it's Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a autoimmune deficiency, which attacks the central nervous system, which shuts everything down.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people with a lot of different diagnoses don't really know what they're actually happening. And with ALS, it's like you slowly lose the ability to like just
And it's
do
just
the
your
simple tasks.
Yeah.
And then those simple tasks start becoming harder and harder. And because,
Yeah, and that was was really, really hard is, when I grew up, I fell all the time. So I was in the hospital all the time. But my friends were always doing their own thing. So being in a hospital alone is lonely, man. That's when I learned how to remember I knew how to read and things like that. But when Gary got sick, it was like, I could do, there wasn't anything I couldn't do for him. I was like, whatever I can do, I would be there for him. And really, me and his relationship got so much stronger, so much better, just so much. Dude, the guy's positivity was just amazing, dude. He was laughing every day, no matter what, all the way to the end, and just that was what's really cool. And I didn't know at the time, but he was teaching me how to take care of my son, my newborn son, because my boy was born one day before his funeral, and so I was like, I didn't know it.
what is your son's name?
Bodhi?
Bodhi.
Yes, after the Bodhi tree of enlightenment. So it was really.
I went to skiing right away.
Yeah,
I was like, Bodhi Miller. I'm like, but that doesn't make sense for you. And I was like,
everybody does, dude. Everybody's like, oh, so it was a Bodhi Miller. I'm like, no.
no, that's not right. Do you see two sticks on my feet? That's not
right.
That's
Yeah,
not my thing.
I can ski, but not like that, bro.
No,
but no, it was funny because and at the end, when it was getting closer to the end, feeding Gary, changing him, wiping his ass, and just little things like that, helping him go to the restroom, and which really taught me how to take care of my son. I didn't even know it at the time, like getting him dressed, undressed, and like, have you ever tried to dress a little 7-month-old baby, dude? It's insane,
right?
But trying to undress Gary sometimes, with that, it's funny now that we can laugh and I can look some positive on it because. It's a rough thing, man.
Right.
And that's one of the worst things I've ever seen because nobody gets out alive.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone knows what they're capable of until they're having to take care of a loved one.
Right.
And something I haven't had super thankful for not having to deal with it yet, but at the same time, it's like I know my mom had to, and she had to take care of my great grandmother in her passing days because she got stuck. She actually got stuck up here.
Oh, man.
During the time period.
Yeah.
Because it was like a travel, and and then something happened up here. It's like, okay. So she ended up staying a prolonged period of time until she can go home, and then she went home and passed away right after. But you never know what you're capable of until you do it. And those are the same things like having a kid. I don't have a kid. And I'm not looking to. Yeah. But at the same time, if it does happen, it does happen. But,
right. Yeah.
But, exactly you got to put yourself in those positions. You got to put yourself in those positions to fail.
Yeah.
Like each and every day. And then there's those type of positions where you're like, no matter what happens, like I can't fail at this.
Right.
Like it's going to be awkward.
Oh, dude.
I might put your pants on backwards.
Dude, every day, man.
But every day,
and that was the thing, man. We used to do that. Like Gary,
Gary, wrong foot.
Dude, he was so funny because he was so particular about how he dressed. Right. And, so I always wanted to kind of keep true to his style and stuff. So we were like, okay, you got to do the white socks or black socks. And, you got to have these kicks. And, so it was funny. But, yeah, dude, it's, that part of my life and our lives as friends has been pretty crazy. But I think we all came out way closer. Yeah. Which was really, I thank him for that because he really kept the positive in all of the negative things that were going on at the time. And that was probably the coolest thing ever that he taught me. It was just, just keep smiling, man. Tomorrow's another day. Right. It's not,
And we don't, just to add something in, we don't have to talk about it, but Amanda, same class, right?
Yeah, so it's the crazy part about me and Amanda are really close. She's my 4th grade girlfriend.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, shit.
So me and her have been hanging out. Like, her family's military, my family's military, and we were on the swim team. We held hands 400 times when we were young, and that was about it, dude. Straight dating when you're a little kid, and when she broke up with me with a Raiders shot glass. And I was like, I think you have a drinking problem in fourth grade.
Yeah.
No, but it was funny, man, because I still remember it to the day, and we laugh about it and joke about it. And, that she's another one of my really close friends, and that's another really
she's
hard part.
dealing with an amazing ordeal as well.
Yeah, and she's, again,
Yeah.
that's another great example of a positive mental attitude
Right.
that really will change the outcome of things. If you go in thinking it's going to be the worst, it will.
Yeah.
But if you go in and you're heads up, little soldier, and you're just marching in, and I got this, you do.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it will be, and it's not easy.
Yeah, you ever heard that? I don't know. It's not a saying, but it's like a idea that how you live your final time, or how you live your life. That's what creates your hell or heaven at the end.
That's true.
Like
I can see that.
if you're just so scared and so
Right.
worried and everything's such a burden.
Right.
Could you imagine your final thoughts being like that instead of being like, we're going to
Just so
fucking
peaceful,
rock
yeah.
out and we're going to fucking do this right. And
Yeah.
we're going to have so much fun until the very last fucking
Yeah.
moment. Like, and how your mindset would spin that into heaven or hell really fast.
Right, and that's the crazy part, man. Is like it's up to you. You're in control.
Right.
Of it. You are control of every
That's
emotion that you have.
day to
That's
day.
the only thing that you have control
Yeah.
over is how you feel. So that's what's. I mean, I'm super grateful, super lucky to have these type of friends my whole life.
Right.
I've literally 30-year friendships with these people.
We were talking about something similar just the other day about like the lack of community and like how
Right.
something like you're 38,
39, dude.
39. I just
Pushing it,
wasn't
bro.
even sure. Oh man.
Almost 40, bro.
So 6-year difference, and then think
Okay.
of 6-year difference from me. 6-year difference from you, the camaraderie, largeness of your group is probably dropped by 2 people down to me, or 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Like that my group is really small.
Right.
And it's not as close as it used to be,
Right.
which is weird.
And you think that's just life, or you think that's just
I think it is a mechanism of everything that's going around us,
Like
Facebook,
Facebook,
fucking
yeah.
Instagram, the inability, the ability to communicate with anybody anywhere, but
Yeah.
with our mindsets, it's like I don't really need to.
Yeah, the deconstruction of connections, dude, which is
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
Like we still have our little community and we still have our friend base, which will always be friends. And if anything does happen to these guys, I will have their back. That being said, I feel like, take 6 years away from me. Look at a 27-year-old. Tell me they have the same thing. I think
Right.
I think it's slowly disintegrating.
Yeah.
I could look at it. Then take 6 more years away. 21-year-old right now. That person's life and his community. We were talking about this because of the shooting lately.
Right.
Like those people growing up with that lack of camaraderie and friendship and
Yeah.
people around them, just
And
knowing.
accountability.
Yeah, no one's.
Accountability. Nobody's sitting there telling them this is fucked up.
Right.
like,
Well-
nobody, and everything is acceptable because we've all made excuses for each other.
Right.
That's the saddest part is everybody is like, oh, well, my life was shitty, so they're like, oh, okay, you get a pass. Bullshit, dude. I've had one of the
No, you
gnarliest lives
lose,
I've ever
man.
had, man.
Yeah.
And, dude, it's because of my friends and because of the accountability, which has kept this real, dude.
Well, losing with grace is like the one thing that being on a team sport or doing
Yeah.
things with friends.
Yeah.
Constantly pushing yourself. Losing with grace is the one thing that a lot of people
Yeah.
I think that
Eating
a lot of
shit
people
and
don't
cursing.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating shit and cursing.
Yeah. You got to
That's one of
fucking
the
do it
things
good.
That I learned is if you're gonna
Do
eat
it with style.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat shit, take big bites. That way, people don't know how bad it tastes. Because then nobody knows. They're it's not so bad.
Right? Man, I was in my mind. I thought to myself, I'm like, this was going to go a little differently. We went into a very
Man,
philosophical place, like right off the bat.
Right.
It might have been the 2 shots of tequila.
Yeah, that might have been it too. Just loosen up.
Yeah, you're just like,
Oh man, I need.
And then we were
help.
talking, but no, let's talk about what you're doing now.
Okay.
Like, what is that? The skincare, the
Oh man.
stem cells
So it's called
Is it-
Neogenesis.
Neogenesis.
And, it's kind of, man, again, failing into success, which is pretty funny in my life. You know, like the whole snowboarding thing was going really well. And I made a bad business deal and got into partnerships with a pro athlete. I won't say his name or anything, but you know, we burned it down pretty much because I didn't know business that well, and I was young, you know, and I made some bad choices, and I thought I could just trust people outright, and that's one of the things. Get your contracts in line. Everybody, get your contracts in line. There's no friendships that are stronger than contracts when it comes to business, which that's what I had to learn the hard way. So, fast forward a little bit, burned it down, homeless, living in my truck, cleaning cars at the Evergreen Car Wash because I was like, I got to get a job so I can make some revenue, sleeping on my buddy Austin Pelcher's couch. Dude, he's like, bro, you can come stay at my house. I was like, thank you so much. And sent out a resume because I was like, what?
And this
like,
was post.
So this
that's-
was 2010, 2011. It's like, so snowboard company's still running, but I
Yeah.
made some bad moves and
Oh,
a lot
it
of
fucking sank you with the snowboard company still running.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Because it was.
I was confused. Like, how did you get there? It's like, dude, you're still running KlassNine, aren't you not?
So I had to like spend every dime I had to keep the name, keep the brand,
keep it running.
Everything that I
Yeah.
that I worked for, because the partnership, it went south, man. I don't know, and you never know somebody until they like you have business with them, dude. It's crazy, man. Like people.
Yeah, when people want to cut and run.
Oh, dude, and that's
yeah.
what it was. They just wanted to bury it and not talk about it anymore because it was like, I guess it was something he didn't want on his resume. And I'm like, I will, dude. I'm like, nah, this is mine.
Right. Shit.
So I'm like doing this, and I'm like, well, how do you get, money quick? So, pharmaceutical sales jobs, everything like that. So, but I don't want to sell garbage. I don't want to just push garbage to people because I can sell anything. I can hustle anything to anybody at any moment, but I don't want to do that. So,
honest trade is.
Dude, your psychic paycheck and your paycheck need to add up.
Right.
I don't want to hustle people. So I was out looking out, and I found this guy, Ben Johnson, with Osmosis Skincare, and didn't know a lick about skincare at all. Put out my resume, so I had a strong sales background. So this guy is named Savan, which is funny as hell to me. So this
I just want to picture him in
Dude,
pretty tight leather jeans.
Dude, Ginger
Savan.
Yeah. And I always kept talking to him because I was like, you should start your own salon called Savan Salon. When we were working. But so he hires me. I didn't know anything about skincare. So I'm like, they're like, all right, here's a catalog of products, and now start to call doctors and sell the product. And I was like, shit, I better learn something real quick because I didn't even know what the epidermis was. I was like, where is it on your body?
Where is it? Your epidermis is showing.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
It's funny because it's your skin.
Yeah, I was like the biggest organ of the body. I'm like, where? Well, I was like, you don't even know what we're talking about. But yeah, dude, it was funny. So just schooling myself every night, hustling, trying to learn this practice, this business. And that was 8 years of me living that business. And then I got the opportunity to come to Neogenesis. And it is beyond of, the credibility. Dr. Greg McGuire, 30 years in the industry, developing stem cell science. Steve McGee, who's been just amazing entrepreneur on his own, different aspects, but this is what he's doing right now, full-time, full board, blowing it up. And it's amazing to be able to help people, and this product truly helps people. So it is a stem cell molecule product. So stem cells release these molecules, and that's what the healing part of a stem cell is. And
you had mentioned traumatic skin injuries and burn victims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, what is your success stories with those?
So we had a lady who had 33 treatments of proton radiation treatment, and this poor lady was crispy across her chest, literally crispy. The skin was peeling off, cracking. Oof. She couldn't lift her arms. couldn't wear a shirt, couldn't lay down, man. And the doctor sent her home with Neosporin, lidocaine, and aloe vera. The gnarliest stuffs that you can put on a burn victim, and that's basically what it is, a burn victim.
Right.
And within 7 days of using our products, she was healing, like
Nice.
literally like healing. And then 14 days, 21 days, 36 days, she was pretty much entirely healed.
That's amazing.
And that part of the job is probably my favorite because I'm able to help. Like I'm not hustling people. That
Right.
has a true use for the product. I make a good living doing it, but it really truly is what it says it is.
Yeah.
But
So I was thinking about that, and it's like, hold on, let's do this.
is that better?
Yeah.
Where?
Like you can bring this out of your face a little bit if you want to.
Okay.
And yeah, perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. Just so you're comfortable, like I don't want you to slouch.
Oh yeah.
I'm anti-slouch. I have watched my parents, or not my parents, my grandma. She had the worst slouch. All right. So that being said, so the first thing I think about that is like, have you seen that fish? The people that are doing the fish skin on burns.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
using fish.
What is your
scales.
comparison to that? Like, how is do you guys? So, all right. So, is it a clinic for burn victims, or are you
So we
basically
sell topical
selling-
product?
okay? So you sell product to people that maybe don't have the money to do
Well,
burn
that's one
victim
of the
type
coolest
places.
parts about the business is that we are getting our technology to 10 million people, but
Okay.
then we're gifting 1 million people our product
Oh.
that can't afford it going through these traumatic skin
Right.
issues. So if it's radiation burns, chemo skin, if it's diabetic ulcers, if it's eczema, psoriasis, cystic acne, things that really are detrimental to people's well-being, and they're going through it already anyway. So that's where our psychic paycheck comes in.
Right?
where-
Your heart.
Yeah, and
That's where your heart paycheck comes
yeah,
in.
and I think and that's how everybody's got into the aesthetics game, was to really help people,
Right.
and then also into the medical realm. But one of the worst disconnects is treatment and post-care quality of life.
Right.
There's a disconnect. Doctors will not give a product like ours if they have no information on it. So we need to get the information out. But they're safe to send you home with lidocaine, neosporin, and aloe vera.
It's not, and it's not money making for insurance companies.
Right.
And if you're not in that category and they're not getting any
Yeah.
benefit from it,
I mean,
I've heard like horror stories about how the medical industry works.
We create customers. We
Yeah.
don't create cures. And that's
Right,
the
right.
saddest part of our whole medical system, is that, we really truly look at people as a monetary
Yeah.
thing. It's not really treating an individual. You're treating just
We're
the-
treating symptoms.
symptom,
We're not
yeah.
treating the person.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
person, the person could have, we'll just throw in overweight people because it's easy.
Not
A
really.
person can have all kinds of problems, and okay, you're diabetic, but we're only going to treat the diabetic part.
Right. Yeah, not the psychic.
We're not talking about your
the
brain,
mental,
your
yeah.
health, your physical, your any of those other things. But we're just going to give you a drug.
Yeah,
Same thing with depression.
yeah, exactly.
Depression, domino effects. It's a stacking effect. I'm all about stacking.
Right.
So you can stack X amount of things to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
Like you can start your day, stack it with. I do stupid shit. Like I take a cold shower.
Yeah.
I make my bed.
Yeah.
And I try to stack my day to benefit
right.
me.
Yeah,
So when I come home, and I'm like everything's fucking
a
in
little
order.
checklist.
Yeah, exactly.
Accomplishments. Boom.
So you take that into a larger scale. It's like, okay, so you're overweight. It's like, all right, so we need to fix that. So
Deductively look at your
Yeah.
life, man. Like, what makes you feel shitty?
start
Let's-
minusing shit away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's fucking take that
Depression
out.
does the same thing, man. You can
Yeah.
a
If
bunch
you
of sugar, a bunch
deductively
of
look at your
alcohol.
life-
It's going to make you worse.
Yeah, you deductively look at it, then you're gonna automatically be left with the only things that make you feel good.
Right.
Pretty simple. Yeah. It sounds simple, right?
It sounds simple, but you have to start
Yeah.
minusing something.
Yeah.
Like,
Shitty friends,
what?
shitty bar.
Journey to 1,000 miles, it starts with a step.
Right.
Like, that is one of the best things I've ever heard. And I was like, you just got to start working towards
Right.
whatever you think it is that you need or want.
Yeah. And that's what it is like saying it out loud, focusing on it, and then every day working towards it. I mean,
Vision.
Yeah. And yeah, dude, dream every day.
Yeah,
Dream like
fuck
ridiculous
yeah, man.
dream, dude. Like the most ridiculous shit you can come up with, and you're gonna end up better than you were yesterday. Even if you got like a quarter of the way there.
What's
cool.
2%? It's like 2% better than no.
Right.
Like 0
Yeah,
or
because
-3.
I heard this guy, he was like, people focus on 10% of their life when 90% of their life is perfect. And they let that 10% of their life run and ruin the 90% of the great things that happened. Like, why are you so worried about 10% of your life that you weren't even in control of anyway?
Right?
The 90% of the life
yeah. That kills me.
Like murdering it at and just being so good at. And this other 10% maybe didn't come together because you didn't get the job or that you missed your flight or was some things that just didn't, and you're gonna let that just blow up your world. Like, who cares? You go sit at the bar, have a drink, man.
All right, that was a great tangent, but I want to get back on. Dude, that's the best thing about this. Like, I really enjoy what you're talking about could lead into like a really good thought, and like. That's why I wanted to do this, and that's why we're doing it. And
this is perfect, man.
Particularly, what I wanted to talk about, just to swing back, that skincare and like what benefits could it help with? Maybe someone that has skin cancer and or just that early signs of.
So the thing with this is there's no contraindications. So a lot of people are worried, is it going to increase cancer, things like that. We're not treating cancer. That's not what it does. But what it does is it helps to build the extracellular matrix of the skin to create a healthier, healthier, more robust.
That's
just microbiome of your body, right? You want to keep that shit healthy.
Well, me and you don't have to worry about it, but I do have some friends.
Well, we can help with that too, and that's what the goal is to give the body what it needs. Not what we're telling it.
Right.
Like the body's already producing these molecules, but every year it starts to slow down. Everything starts to slow down. So what we're doing is replenishing those levels so your body can heal itself. So we're not. It's not like steroids or anything like that. So it's giving the body, it's mapping. Your body needs this, we give it that, filling the tanks.
Nice.
So it's never something and there's no contraindications.
Right.
It's safe for literally anybody. So if you get a mosquito bite, you get a rash, you get a sunburn, you have a chemo burn, you have.
Oh, I was thinking one of my friends had a mole removed.
Yeah.
Like she has
any scar,
constant,
wound,
just like fear of possible skin cancer or out of a mole.
Yeah.
Like,
and this stuff is just a healthier alternative to what's out there.
Yeah.
They have these different hydroquinones that will bleach the skin, which will damage the melanocyte, which will in turn cause you.
I need a graph with the melanocyte. Melanocyte is.
It's what causes pigmentation in your skin.
Oh, okay. So like
Melanin.
Melanin. What's melanoma?
Melanoma is a cancer. Oh. You don't want it to create melanoma. I got so much melanoma in me right now.
Yeah, I got the best melanoma around. Look at that shit.
Bottling it. We're
going to sell this shit.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's funny. But, so it's just, a great way to help to treat the skin organically and healthy.
Okay.
And there's no chemicals. It's just, and there's 30 years of science behind it.
Right.
This Dr. Greg McGuire has 100 peer-reviewed white papers published. So, I mean, he's just a sweetheart of a guy anyway. But what he's created is just phenomenal, and the results are just.
It's funny is like how much stuff we have created with like, all right, we'll just stack this. We'll let's just take a lotion bottle. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck's in lotion. I don't know exactly.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
And like at the same time, it's like, but it makes your skin soft. I'm like, okay, then how did you even get here? Right. And then how far away were we from like something that was simple?
That was.
And I wanted to
really
like bring in,
that
it was good for your body.
Yeah.
And then we were in this region where it's like, it's so chemical.
Capitalism.
Yeah. And then now we're going to stem cells with probably a mixture of like some of the original natural ingredients that you probably started with.
Well, and that's the craziest part is like your body's perfect. The only thing wrong with it is you. Because you're either deficient, you're poisoning yourself, you're forcing your body to do stuff it's not normally ready to do, or, you know, those type of things, or you're like throwing stuff at it that doesn't need to happen. Like your body never needed to have, you know, these different type of chemicals in it. But your body's so badass that it really will fix itself if you keep poisoning it.
Right.
You know? But yeah, that's where you look at stem cells. Everybody was stoked when they came with embryonic stem cells because you could train them to become anything. But then they started noticing that there already are skin stem cells. There's bone stem cells. There's any organ has its own plethora of stem cells. So it's not just that.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about intermittent fasting and like how that increases your stem cells. Like you want healthier skin, you want healthier look. You know, you got to increase your body's ability to create that
because your body starts to circulate your blood, and really causing that ATP, which is adenine triphosphate, and that's what feeds your entire cell system.
Yeah, so I'm convinced that your body doesn't have like a city. It needs time to relax from. Like, or turn off, essentially.
Right.
It can't constantly be metabolizing shit.
Right.
Like, once it gets to full clear, it's like fully optimized and ready to fucking roll.
And that's when you start getting fat.
Yeah, that's where, And then you're not creating stem cells at all. Your skin's getting worse. You look worse. Do a bunch of drugs.
Garbage coming out, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I ran into this crazy lady during 4th of July. And she was sitting on my friend Santiago, and I'm just like... She's like, "Oh, is this your dad?" I'm like,
yes.
How old do you think he is? And like he's, I want to say 41 now. And I was like, "How old do you think I am?"
Dude.
I tell her I'm 33. She's like, "I'm 33."
Oh shit.
She does not look 33.
You're like,
she's like, she looks 40 minimum.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
And I'm like, holy fuck! And you can see it in her eyes, like, fuck, I fucked up. Like, this is how I could be. Like, and I don't do that much bad shit. Like, you know, but I don't repeatedly do bad shit. Like, but like, have fun. This is your body. Like, it is you know, and you only live once. Like, you can be super healthy.
Yeah.
And be crazy about it.
That's the other thing.
And you'll live a really long time, and that'll be amazing, but you'll have no life experiences. Or you can live like shit, and you can look like shit. There's a really happy gray area everyone can live in.
Right. Yeah. No, it is. It is that balance, man. And I think that's all life is just, it's a beautiful struggle, but it's a balance, you know? Like, everything is hard.
Right.
You have a hard, dude, life
There's
is
nothing
horrible.
Easy about it.
It's like the craziest thing I've ever been involved in. I'm like, what? Like, every day I wake up, I'm like, this is weird. But I'm glad to be here, you know? I'm like, shit, dude. Like,
it's a roller coaster, man.
Yeah.
Super highs, super lows.
But yeah, man, it's been, I cannot be happier with how things have kind of turned out, and, you know, where my, you know, my life path is going, and the people that I've been involved with and been able to meet, you know, traveling the United States selling skincare has been just amazing.
You travel to sell it?
Back in, you know, for the last 8 years with the other brand I worked for. Yeah, man, it was crazy. I was on the road, probably traveling 2 weeks a month and visiting 11 states through the Midwest, and then doing trade shows and trainings and just everything you could think of to help further the brand. And which is nice now because, you know, it's more, I get to stay home more, so then I get to hang out with my child more and things like that. And, you know, that part of it really affords me to be a part of my kid's life.
That's pretty amazing, and like I love your, man. I just love that you're doing something that you can really be proud of, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah,
like, and that's the biggest thing I want to do. Like, you know, I'm super proud of my business. So I'm like, I'm super proud to be part of it. You know,
yeah. You're
luckily
family,
enough to be afforded to be really part of it. You know,
well, and that's what's cool. So yeah, that I mean, I grew up with you and your brothers, but I didn't. You know, I hung out with Ian. Right? I think we played football, Brian
What?
Grange together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, I think he was a year above me.
Right.
He was in with Gary and Tucker and Matt. And
So he was 96. You graduated in 97.
no, I graduated in 90. I was supposed to graduate in 99, and then I moved out of my parents' house. I was 15, moved in with the Registers, and then was emancipated, and then graduated in 98 because I was like, get me the hell out of the
Right.
class. I don't want to go to school no more.
Let's talk about 9 tribes.
All right,
That's what you
so
said, man, right?
It was.
We were talking about late. So when we
night.
decided to do this, just to clarify, we were really, it wasn't that I was really drunk, but I was getting there. And, this is the most we ever actually had a chance to talk.
Yeah.
Most of the times when I see you, Frank, it's just like in passing. Like,
Right.
We are always in passing. It's like,
Always,
I'm at work or,
Yeah.
it's just not,
Yeah.
not enough time to talk. We had some good conversation then, and here we
Yeah.
are, and that's why we were doing the podcast. But you brought up a thing called 9 Tribes, and I really love this idea.
Awesome.
And I have my own little twist to it, and one of my good focus points,
Awesome.
had a great idea for it. But I want you to elaborate on
Yeah.
that idea for me.
So the whole idea came around when we have really, really talented friends in our community, right? And I just bought a home here in Clear Creek County in Idaho Springs.
Back home.
Yeah, so I'm putting my roots back down and bringing my child here to grow up. And it's funny because Matt Brown, Kyle Gould, Noah Kalowski, they're all sheriff's department.
Right.
So I'm like stoked. I'm like, my boy's gonna get washed after now. It's pretty
Right.
cool, man. So the thing was,
Oh, you're a
it's just-
Duran.
Oh, yeah,
that's
dude.
the.
He's all, take me to jail. Don't tell my dad.
Don't take my day. Yes.
So that's the part that I'm like super excited for Bodie to grow up with.
That's awesome.
And that was another reason why I didn't name him Frank Duran III, was because I didn't want to have to live up to this name that I created in Clear Creek County. I know he'll be a Duran his whole life, but I didn't want him to have to live up to the oh, you're Frank Duran III,
Right.
because I don't know what people really think of me too much, but I don't really care, but I don't want it to put it on him.
Right. You don't want that little ripple.
Right.
That last little ripple about who you are.
I want him to be his own man because I love who I am. I mean, some people might not, but that's okay. That's their decision. But I just didn't want that to be something held against him. But that's why when we moved back here, I started thinking more. I'm like, man, we have the most talented group of friends that I've ever seen throughout Clear. I mean, even if you grab, say, 10 years, from when I graduated down or up, we have just really talented, good people, working for Nike, working for 686, working for Patagonia, owning different companies like Icelandic and, like your company, Yards, dude. It's just, these things that we're so talented at, and just why not create a community of these great companies? And the idea was, 9 tribes, because it's 9 different businesses, 9 different groups of friends or different ideas, but they can come together with one solid idea about the community.
Right.
So one of the things that I did when Gary passed, and I've been doing it for every year, is raising money to help kids afford snowboard gear, passes, snowboards, whatever they might need. So this year we did 100 dog tags for Gary Weinman with his logo, with my logo. We sold them for $10 a piece, so $1,000, and we have that in a bank account to where when the season comes up, that we're going to find a kid in our community that doesn't have snowboard gear, doesn't have a season pass, but really enjoys it. Will keep
Wants
them
to be
of
out
trouble.
there. Parents can't afford to.
Right. So that would be one of the projects, right? So, but what it is coming all of us together maybe once a month, just, like a mastermind group or something like that, to where we really bond and understand, hey, what's your business doing? What's my business doing? And how do we really build a community from that?
And the biggest reason I love this idea is because I really hate how the government, or what do you want to call it, the community up here runs the city council, the mayor, and this inability to actually get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
Scraps and Soil?
Yes.
Scraps and Soil has that little plot of land that's still next to the old 7-Eleven or whatever.
Right.
And
I don't even know the story about that.
They aren't okaying them to use the money they earned to start their production. The hang up is that the town doesn't want to okay them to use the plot of land for 25 years.
So they don't want to lease it.
They want to lock it in. They are like, well, what if something comes up? Okay, so they said, what about 20 years? And then I was like, okay, that's fine. But then in a small clause of that agreement, we could cancel this at any time.
Yeah. So they're just
So
like,
it's
sell it from underneath.
full BS.
But it's for the community.
Exactly.
That's the weirdest part.
So someone in there is thinking it's so money grubbing and so like
That's weird.
ineffective that it's stopping something that was so pure
Right.
and so great.
Right.
That's like that no one really had to think about, but it was good. Like it was something that was good.
Yeah, if you can teach a kid to tend a garden, he'll have way more pride in everything he does.
Well, that's a big thing up
mean-
here is like you don't have that ability.
That's
You only
crazy.
get that ability a few months a year.
Yeah. But yeah, you plan ahead, but that's what it is. It's really playing chess, not checkers. You're like, oh
Right.
man, I gotta start planning him now before and then that April snow is coming, so you gotta keep
Right.
him inside, or it's take the risk, but it's like worth having that.
So yeah, having a
that
small,
sucks,
like
man.
basically having a city council of like, say it's the 9 tribes,
Well, and-
saying that these people we're going to make choices. We're
Right.
going to make choices as a business, and maybe we all go in on a piece of land.
Well, and that's the cool part is money will lubricate a lot of
Yeah.
these people's opinions and tell them, hey, we don't really give a crap what your true opinion is, but this is what we would need and what we want for our community.
Right.
So here's some money and
Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, make it happen. I mean, look at Rob Dyrdek, dude. He has a safe spot, skate spot, and got the key to the city because what he's doing is creating a safe place for kids to really congregate and be creative.
Yeah, hang out.
Like, why can't you do
Yeah.
like a garden? The same thing. I mean, that's the same thing.
So my big idea, and this is an idea that was this one fly is it's annoying the piss out of me.
I was like, dude, I can't get this without chopsticks. Dude. So I would have got it with chopsticks.
But one of my big ideas, and it's actually originally it wasn't my idea. I'll be honest with you. We were up in I was probably like 16 or 15 years old, getting mushrooms in Leadville from
All right.
some like hippie. God, we were young.
That's
but damn, this
awesome.
fucking guy had a great idea. It's like, man,
Okay.
these small towns need to have a community garden,
Yeah.
but it needs to be a greenhouse. It needs to be
Oh,
able to
so
run
year-round.
year round. It needs to run year round. It needs to sell its own product, but it needs to be ran by the community,
Yes. That's amazing.
like a internal farmers market.
Yep. That's, dude, a grocery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right there, dude.
Fuck, like when shit hits the fan and no one knows how it's going to, robots,
What? Yeah.
fucking zombies,
Trump.
Trump. When shit fucking actually does it, EMP, dude,
Yeah.
fucking having a self-sustaining grow house. Like, dude, all these weed places, and I was telling you that the other night, it's like they've gone to a full biodome. They're literally,
awesome. Yeah.
the next standard right now
Self-sufficient, yeah.
is self-sufficiency without using water.
That's cool as fuck, man.
Right? So everything's getting reused. Everything's getting composted.
Yeah.
The water isn't, unless emergency, you're not using any water. It's creating its own condensation. It's refiltering itself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be easy to put right there.
Right? Run on top of that, we're already doing it.
Yeah.
So there has to be, not to mention, since there's so many marijuana places coming up,
Mm-hmm.
the cost, because of the demand was,
all of those
isn't going
tools-
down, but it's so high that the cost is coming down. The ability to do this is getting easier and easier and
Yeah.
easier. One of these places goes out of business. You see what they're doing in Dumont. They have like 3 rows of just weed. That
Mm-hmm.
should be like, how easy would that be to do food? I'm
Right.
thinking of places like Empire. Empire
man.
is so much sun and there's so much land that's not
There's-
being used properly.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the
Like-
mine tailings and stuff like that. So I don't know what the EPA would say about that, but I mean, I don't know.
I was thinking on top of the water wheel. Like that's a ton of sunlight right there.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that would
Can
be
run all the
perfect,
time.
dude. It would, yeah, And then that little hike up there.
Right.
There.
And they got a good starting point. Like, all you'd have to do is, like, you got to get the land and you got to dedicate it to this.
And,
like,
then you could
just,
reroute some of that water.
And you wouldn't be able to, like, this would be one of those things. Is like, it would never amount in a lot of money, but it would amount into something so much more solid for the community than,
Oh, man.
like, it would be self-sustaining. It would make a little bit of money to do whatever it needs because you're going to sell it. You're going to have to sell it. You're not going to give it away. And you give away whatever you don't.
Yeah.
And then you take away this.
That's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, this truck habit.
That
it's
you
like
take care of
everything.
your community.
Yeah, everything needs to come in from a truck. It's like, that's not true.
And how many retirement communities do we have here in Idaho Springs? I mean, we have a couple that
big
are
ones.
Big ones, right? So we could feed them, and that's a reflection on your society. That's a reflection on your community, is how your elderly are taken care of.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just do that for that reason? And then everything else, we could have potlucks, we could have, big events like Rapid Grass could come up, and then you have a whole buffet of food or whatever
that's made here.
Yeah, homegrown. Man.
There has to be, and then, like, on top of that, it's like there's places near here that you're using, like, probably using some of that buffalo that's on Genesee, but like at the same time,
they eat those.
Someone has to, right? They
Dude,
just don't just
I see
die.
little baby ones
There's a fuckload
all
of them
the time.
There's
and
a
then
lot.
It never gets bigger.
Do you know that's one of the few things that, like, we successfully repopulated, like, as humans. Like, literally almost killed them all, and then they're.
But we'll kill off other things so easily.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. It's scary. It's scary, but at the same time, it's like it.
So they do eat.
Jeff Goldblum, nature finds a way, man. Like, it's gonna find a way. Like, scary thing was like honey. You were talking about honey. Bees.
You telling me, honey?
Hey, honey. Hey, honey, can you grab me another one of these beautiful White Claws?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
I wanted to call it something else. These things are delicious.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the other thing too. So you were saying composting. I have a bear that eats everything around my house. And if I do a compost pile, dude, he's going to be straight up bathing in that, eating it. So that's the other weird part about, mountain living is those things you never have to think about
right.
when you're, city living. But, even having a garden.
And I think that's maybe just you need to, move your compost pile further away. So, yeah, he can have access to it, but it's not like it's too close to you.
Right. But, and
then you're not throwing it away either.
Yeah, he's going to eat it no matter what, dude. You can't stop a bear.
Right.
But, dude, the other day I walked out and he was in the middle of the day, face in a baby diaper, and it was disgusting. And I threw up. I couldn't clean it up. I was just hot out. I was like, that bear, man.
So I just came up with another idea for so Combo's doing that new bike area up on Floyd Hill. Okay. And they're doing a grand opening, and we're going to do. I just told my friend who's communicating with the head Combo guy, let's do a pig roast for the grand opening.
All right.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We should do that for 9 tribes. Let's get together. Let's
get
map out who.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who needs to come, where we can meet, and where we can do a pig roast, and I'll bring the pig.
Okay.
And we'll Scott, myself, we'll make time. We'll both be there,
Yeah.
But we're weekdayers, so it'll be we can never do it on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to start it and then invite the community. Obviously have the heads of the businesses show up early.
Right.
Talk through the business, see who really wants it.
See what we can do.
And then invite the community. So maybe we do it at the new, the parks that's just got done.
Yeah, I love that park.
It's amazing there, right? It's so cool, man. It's definitely way bigger.
Right.
Way cooler. I
mean,
mean,
it's less fearful. My dogs almost got hit there because they ran into the street.
Right.
Also, this whole town needed that upgrade so bad. From my end of town.
Dude, nobody walked down here.
Yeah. Well, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it was dude, you get smoked by a car, man.
I almost clipped someone really late at night because I couldn't see them.
Right.
And for some reason, they were it might have been muddy. So they they were walking
on
the
road.
white line.
Yeah.
And I was just out of nowhere, and those streetlights are so far apart.
Right. And who's that gentleman? You see him all the time in his little motorized wheelchair, but with the flags.
Oh yeah. I don't know his name.
I don't know him either. I need to meet him. But homeboy is just rolling the whole strip, man.
Yeah.
Rolling the strip.
He needs
'cause
lights.
Yeah, he does. I saw him in the middle of the highway, but in the middle of the day. But like he can go from one end of town to the other on
Right.
sidewalks.
I got a couple guys that do that. I got a guy over here that wears a Cubs hat.
Yeah.
He just cruises up, cruises back.
Dude, and that's the best part. When we grew up here, that didn't happen.
Right.
And then now, when I move back, it's like almost finished, and I'm like, man, I can literally with my kid in his wheelchair or stroller, I can
Walk the distance of the
whole
town,
way
yeah.
and put him to sleep, that's the best part, man.
Well, I was when one of my employees, their son bikes, and I watched him almost get hit by a car, because the parking doesn't allow for you to walk anywhere.
Yeah.
You're literally walking behind cars.
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's just
dangerous,
so
huh?
dangerous. And it's I grew up in Georgetown. Georgetown was
Yeah.
you, as long as you stayed off of the main entrance of Georgetown, literally you could walk in the street everywhere.
Right.
You never had to think about cars. People would just drive around you.
Yeah.
It was never traffic.
Yeah.
And I missed that. And I was always thinking about and I love Idaho Springs because it's, it's just a little closer to the city. It has amenities that Georgetown doesn't have, and it's not fucking windy.
Right. Yeah. G-Funk, man, your doors
Oh my
will blow
God.
out.
And then the sun during the winter up in Georgetown.
Yeah,
is
you're in a shadow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's vicious.
Yeah, dude,
It's depressing.
You get the cabin fever for sure.
Yeah.
Dude. You're like, get me out of Clear Creek County or Georgetown for sure.
I lived under Gwinnett for a year.
Oh man, yeah. You
During
never
the
get sun, man.
during the wintertime, you're like, beep, and it's done. You're like,
Yeah.
damn,
2 hours of sun.
that was
you're like,
nice.
Get my vitamin D. But yeah, that's crazy, man. But yeah, dude, I'm in for anything that we can do to better the community because I'm putting roots down. I bought a house, dude.
Right.
I'm raising my kid here. I want to see him to be able to enjoy the things I did, and when I was older, I was like, get me out of Clear Creek County.
Right.
So I left. I immediately left. And then when I left, I was like, I made it. I'm big, I'm famous, whatever. And then, when you get a little older, you're like, man, that was the coolest part of my life.
Right.
And the calmest part of my life and the most organized part of my life. And,
we're the beach.
Yeah,
We're
man.
literally where people want to retire,
Yeah.
to have roots where other people want to be already.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine living in the city again. I can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it down
No,
there.
no way.
My brain doesn't even work that way anymore. I'm not aggressive when I'm down there. Driving around, I'm
dude.
super relaxed, and I'm all of a sudden I'm in a pickle, and oh man, I should have been paying attention because I'm just my brain's turned off to it.
Yeah.
My city life, that brain pattern of let's get through defensive driving, offensive driving. Let's fucking don't be caught off guard.
Well,
And all of a sudden I was caught off guard 3 times in one day, and I was like, God damn it, I need to get out.
Yeah,
the fuck
even
out
going
of here.
to in a bar downtown, you go to a Rockies game and you come out, you have to worry about getting in a fist fight with some weird kid, dude, some frat boy kook. You're like, who are you, man? I just went to
What
a
is
Rockies
happening?
game.
No, you got to worry about
Yeah.
that up here too.
Do
You just
you?
can't. No, you just don't stay out that late.
Yeah, oh for sure that, dude. But man, yeah, I don't know. Just having a part of Clear Creek and knowing that I'll be here and being able to. My father still lives here, which is cool, man.
I met your aunt.
You did? What was,
I feel like you're-
dude, my dad's the oldest of 10 kids.
Oh.
So I got.
She
a
lives
huge
up.
family.
She lives up in Dumont, up past the post
Lisa?
office. Yes.
Garcia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, no. She said Duran.
No. And was it? Oh, it was Yvonne.
Arts mom.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eddie and Yvonne. Yeah. Dude,
I was like, what the
Artie.
fuck?
Yeah, dude. So that's my family too, man. And yeah, dude, I got a big family.
I was
dude.
hanging out with Art.
Their
other day.
SWAT team, dude. We were up at their house shooting guns, and cops got called on us. And he's a SWAT. He
Right.
was SWAT. I don't think he's in that anymore. But yeah, it was funny. The cops roll up and they're like, "That's the Durans," and we're like, "What's going on?"
Hey. No, they love those guys.
Oh man, yeah, it's dude, they're funny, man. And actually, I think they're looking to start a moonshine business too. So
Nice.
That's another thing that we're looking to. We're looking to actually buy a restaurant / bar / rental shop coming up here in the next couple years.
Nice.
So if there's a couple properties that we're looking at right now, and I think that might be just another great way to, put in roots, and then have a place for my kid to work, his little kids to come and his friends to come work, and, keep them honest, like, hey, go wrench on a bike for, a couple hours and I'll pay you some money, or,
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like kids I don't even know how they can get away with not working. Like
Right.
I barely have any. I remember being like 2 of 4 kids during the summertime working at like the Happy Cooker in Georgetown or the Red Ram and shit like that.
Right.
And like all of a sudden, like I'm struggling to get a kid to just come in and work
That's crazy.
after work or after school or just on weekends just to make some money. It's like, dude, I was fucking working
I was
every
hustling
weekend
when I was a kid, man.
Dude.
Like if it wasn't selling like
I would need
candy bars and like sodas
fucking-
and stuff out of my locker,
I did that shit too.
I
didn't even
Yeah.
Junior, senior year, I was in Warren Tech, so I didn't have to come to school.
Nice.
The first part of school. So I would go to Safeway, pick up 6 packs of like Coke, or go to Domino's and pick up fucking like 6 pizzas.
Dude, you're
And I would
like,
I would sell slices and sell like $1 fucking sodas. And then I'll just walk away with cash. I'm just like,
Dude,
it's
that's awesome.
so overpriced at school. It's like, this is stupid.
Well, yeah, my first job was Bill Tilley at Area Sports.
Oh, yeah.
So he let me come fit boots. Me and Alex Hinojos, Casey Lamb, Aaron Hinojos, like all those guys, dude. Brent Maynard, all those guys were there, dude. And we were just, wrenching skis. renting skis.
There's no community for that anymore.
Yeah, which,
It's like,
they're
you need to be
gone.
fucking-
That's actually, that property is a Starbucks and a Subway now.
Fuck.
And then, the second job I had was the summertime was at Marion's. Like bussing tables, man.
Right? The fucking need for money or like this lack of.
Yeah, how
is it even possible?
I think what it is there's no honor in the dollar. Everybody wants to be famous for nothing. You don't want to work for it, which blows my mind. I'm like, man, like I don't want
No, we're building losers.
dude, literally.
Like you don't know how to win. You don't know how to lose. Right? You don't know how to live life once you hit your 20s.
So that was one of the crazy things. So when I started KlassNine, I was like, man, I'm not an Ivy League kid. I wasn't in the military. My family was in the military. And I got into business with this kid that was military. He was from Clemson University, big time. But our first project that we did was longboards, which I didn't build longboards at the time. And I was like, that was kind of a big thing because Denver Summer was doing it. So I was like, I got to keep up with the Joneses on that one. That was a bad business model. I was able to build the decks, but then I didn't understand trucks, wheels, bearings, hardware, grip tape. I don't do that. I'm like, so by the end of the day, when I had my board built, it was like $180 just cost.
Right.
So, and then when it came down to it, it was a bad business deal and we were losing money on it. And that kid didn't know how to recover from failure because they don't teach that.
Right.
They're like, everything's so given or worked for, and we see it now. Like people are paying for grades to get into colleges. Like,
well, that's always existed,
crazy.
but now
But yeah,
now it's even more people.
I thought it was valuable to help those type of people.
Right.
But now I'm looking at, man, I would rather have people who fail 1,000 times than a person that has a spoon in their mouth every day.
Think of it this way too: is like back then you can go to college and like you wouldn't accumulate that much debt. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't come out of college like with a fucking car debt.
Oh, dude, a home
or like
debt.
a really nice car, like fucking 100,000.
Yeah, a house.
150,000. That's what we're talking about for 4 years. I don't even know what it costs.
Yeah.
It's so extravagant that you might not be able to pay it off before you get to retirement.
Just the interest on a student loan is just astronomical, ridiculous, and then that's what we set for people as a standard.
Right.
Like if you're not $100,000 in debt, you're not a true American. Like, come on, man. Like that's the standard of I guess of quality or something.
Right.
Or
you're gonna get out of college. You're gonna make 20, like starting maybe 30, 35.
Yeah.
At like a temp job, something shitty, something you're not gonna like, and you have this huge debt stacked against you Like, tell me you were prepared for that ever.
Yeah, you don't even have any work history.
Yeah.
Like, dude, yeah, you're like, all right, I'll just get a job at Taco Bell,
Right.
and then people.
Oh,
are
that's
pissed.
it's even worse. Like, then none of them worked when they're in college.
Yeah.
Usually they do, but they
Or
don't
they
work.
just, yeah,
they don't know
right.
how.
Yeah, they get like a couple jobs and then or work
Right.
for the work,
Just to
cutting
pay for
grass or
food.
something. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's a racket for sure, dude. And that's one of the things when I did go to college, I just went online, but I went for business and accounting because it was those things that I knew were going to be in style.
Right.
It wasn't going to go out of style like becoming a historian or becoming, I don't know, just the weird shit that you could get a fucking degree for these days. It's like.
No, they're teaching.
Really
You can literally social sciences. Is that the thing? Whatever. Something where it does like when you get done with it, it's like, what are you going to be? Well,
Yeah, how do you apply it?
I'm going to be a feminist. I'm going to be I'm going to be a social.
an activist.
I'm going to be an activist. I'm like, that's not a job.
Yeah, who gets paid for that?
No one gets paid for that. No one lives that way. You're going to come out of college and you know just be in debt and not have a good job.
Yeah, I got all these degrees. You're like, oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's scary. It's
It
so
is.
scary, man.
But
I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Oh, yeah,
So I
man,
was checking equipment.
we're going on tangents, bro.
Right? No, that's the best thing about this is like we covered what I wanted to cover. Like, because like you can really talk about, oh, I want to kill this fucking thing. Like you can't really talk about one thing unless you're a professional about it to somebody that it's not that I'm not willing to listen. It's just like, it's not a conversation then.
Right.
It's like you want to just talk about one thing, like it just gets drowned really fast with like, well, hold on, like you made me think of something. Like, that's a conversation.
It
like,
is, yeah. And I think that's what we were saying is, then that's why you started this was there's that lack of communication between people, and you can't have open conversation. It's always one person dominating, and the other person just waiting to talk.
Right.
It's like,
Oh man, yeah. That's a one of my friends like, well, that's the liberals for you.
yeah.
I feel like I'm a liberal, but at the same time, I can't stand the idea that someone would literally talk over someone to the point of exhaustion.
Right.
I'm just like,
It's
what?
People have amazing opinions, and not that I agree with everybody, but at least I'm like hearing it, and I'm not closed down to it. But,
Right.
I mean, if you close yourself off to that, dude, I think you're the one losing. Like I love to hear other
Every
people's
day.
opinion, because then I know it's valuable to me to be knowing that, hey, I know that person really is passionate about this, and at some point in my life, I might need to like bank or cash that check, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that, Andrew really fucking was stoked on that. I'm gonna call him up. I need a fucking boy to go fucking do this with,
Right.
like, and it's not might be what I'm into at that point, but it is now, so why are you shutting yourself down to like future fucking awesomeness? Dude,
Yeah, no, it's dude, you are what? Your body's a temple. Your brain's the manufacturer of that body, and like you have to learn and accept new things because if you don't, like, this shit is fucking, like you said, it's hard.
It's
no
hard.
one fucking, and everyone's coming into it 20 years old thinking it was easy.
Well, and they're
And I
entitled.
never thought that it was going to be easy. I was never brought up to think that it was going to be easy. It wasn't easy when I was young, and it wasn't going to be easy when I was in my 20s. I was able to skate by with because like limited amount of things to pay for.
Right.
But then it starts to get harder. It starts to get a little bit more difficult, and but
Well, it's
to
everything
keep
that-
traction is the
that
biggest
you-
thing.
And I think we're always in control of it, though. Like, I don't have any bill that I never wanted, except taxes. But, you know what I mean? Like, everything I do, I'm like,
Well,
I'm okay.
injury.
Well, that. right?
Injury always got me. I was like, damn it.
So, dude, and I'm not ashamed of this, dude. Like, I had to file for bankruptcy 8 years ago because of doctor bills.
Right.
I was at like $274,000 in doctor bills because I'm accident prone. I fall. I was snowboarding. I was doing
Right.
these things.
Oh, you're-
But it costs that much to save your own life. Like, that's crazy. But what are they going to do? Come and repossess your body or something, like, you know, it shouldn't cost that much.
Right. And that's the thing I think people should do. Like, now that you think about it.
Did that
Why wouldn't
fly
you
just have a baby?
Yeah, that's
Two
what I
babies.
just killed was a baby. I just killed a baby
You
fly.
just killed the baby's baby.
No, I need to fucking air out this guy. This is the problem with this, or where this location is.
Well, it was just so moist. It's like moist.
Yeah,
than an
that
oyster
too.
in here
And I've
right
been
now.
in and out of here like nonstop today.
But no, this is, dude,
Yeah.
honestly, like, this is refreshing. This is, I think you're doing something great here, dude.
Thanks.
I'm stoked, man.
I'm
and I
I'm
appreciate
super
to
stoked.
be-
You're the first person that asked to be on here.
Yeah, dude. I was like, dude, I
Yeah.
saw you doing this, dude. I was
I
like,
was,
well, why,
yeah.
dude? I'm like, dude, I gotta be a part of this, dude. Cause
I got something to say. Like, some people, like,
yeah,
I'm so happy that you asked to be on here because
yeah,
it's not that I don't mind asking people, but I can, like, same with you, is like, I've been selling food fucking forever, so I can sell someone pretty much anything. Like, you know, I'm just like, as long as I'm pretty confident about it, you know, like, I'm confident about it when I serve, like, as long as it's something I like to eat, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can sell you anything. Dude, I'll make it sound so fucking good. And I know you're hungry, so it doesn't really, like,
Yeah.
I already, like, one step ahead of you.
hell yeah.
But, like, with this, it's like, it's tricky because some people,
well,
I think some people are a little intimidated to be recorded and
Yeah.
to have their thoughts broadcasted. It's like, you know, and I'm like, right now at this early on work, it's just like, you know, it's really about you. Like, it's not about me. Like, I'm
Right.
producing this stuff, but you're the person that's going to be dependent on how many people listen right now.
right, and that's one.
And
of
it's
the-
going to fluctuate with that person.
Right, and that's that's why I want to be a part of it. Is that, you know, it's weird that there is a demand for listening to good stories, right?
Right.
So I think, you know, shit, I'd live my life twice, man. You know, it's been crazy, and there's still things that I would love to come on and talk about, like,
Right?
just. I mean, dude, so much stuff, dude.
No, we're going to set up
but-
another one, like, right away. Like, I'm
and it-
sure.
Yeah, and then, you know, it'd be cool to truly bring in some characters that I know. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, because I know some crazy, insane, funny people.
I got
man.
that. I got the second mic. We can do a 3-man show.
Yeah.
Like, I did that. That was our first one. We did. We opened up with a 3-man show.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear people's stories, man. Like, people, I don't know anybody who lives the same.
I feel like the reflections are like, this is one of those things I just thought of, but whatever. Like, reflections of other people is like, if you can't see yourself in other people, like, you're not really good at, like, being yourself. Like,
Right.
you have to listen to these, like, people's stories, and you got to listen to people's thoughts to make yourself better.
Right.
And you got to listen to people's failures. You got to listen to people's, like,
I like
you
those
know,
stories.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, but
and,
how
like,
did
you
get
read
shit that hard and you're
books.
still here.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck,
Like,
man,
people
that's
read
awesome.
books, they YouTube, and right now with, like, YouTube and, like, being able to listen to people, like,
Yeah.
nonstop. Like, you could basically, I'm running out of material right now, but I listen to podcasts and stuff all day. And during at least my mornings, like 3 hours.
Dude, you know that
I
show,
open
The
up.
Hot Ones?
The Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
We
great.
should do the ribs, dude.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be funny, dude. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it'd be like, we call it the riblet.
Right?
Dude, and we just, dude, it would be like
Yeah.
5, to 10 wings with conversations with people in our community. And dude, we could go get like the retirement communities. We could grab one of the people living there, and just, it would be hilarious
Right.
to hear their story.
Well, I think, like,
I
that's
mean-
the biggest thing about this. Like, even if it's not eating food, like,
Well,
for some
yeah.
people, like, no one's asking them about anything they've done.
Right.
And if you have one person I'm sure there's just tons of stories.
Amazing stuff.
Like, I kind of want to bring my dad on here, but I'm, like, thinking, he's like, you guys say fuck a lot. I'm like, well,
That's
the
awesome.
first round was pretty,
Yeah.
like,
I was
we
a
were
little
just
nervous
winging
too,
it.
Pops.
Yeah, when you're nervous, you tend to
Yeah.
curse a lot more. I'm gonna be honest with you, or it just happens.
Well,
like,
yeah.
you just don't think about it, or, like, I'm constantly thinking, it's like, oh, is this working? Oh, fuck, is this
Dude,
working right?
that's what we
Constantly
should do,
checking over my shoulder.
is We should come up with stories. I'll bring my dad. You bring your dad.
Oh, shit.
And then we have them ask questions that we
Yeah,
come
yeah.
up with.
That'd be good.
That would be hilarious. Because my dad's like old school. He's the oldest of 10 kids, man. And he, when he had us, we were living in Commerce City.
Okay.
And then he brought us up.
Oh,
here.
Commerce City is fucking shit.
Oh, dude.
It's fucking,
it's
like,
the-
when you get out there, you're like, duh.
It's
Commerce,
almost as bad as
Commerce City.
Aurora.
Right? The only other place I could think that's worse than Commerce City is, oh, man, now I can't think of the name. It's like that weird place between Durango and fucking Grand Junction. Del Norte? No, that's not right.
That's so funny because that's where my family's from. It's Del Norte.
Yeah.
They live in Del
It's
Norte.
just this weird, like,
That's so funny.
oh, and I drove to it. I was like, where the fuck am I? Like, I came into, like, an entirely different part of Colorado I've never seen before.
Yeah. No,
It was like a desert mixed with a trailer park, mixed with some farmland, and I was like, "This is confusing," because I just came from like high mountains, like hooray, beautiful fucking shit, and I'm just like,
dude, it's like in the middle of nowhere, and then you got the sand dunes. It's like, and then the crocodile farm out there.
Google's like leading me through the back roads too. I'm just like, I'm
That's so
I'm
funny,
learning
dude.
a lot about Del Norte.
That's what my family has a bunch of land out there and stuff. It's crazy, dude. Like, that's why we're so weird, dude. We're from Del Norte, man.
Del Norte. It's still Colorado.
Yeah.
I bet you the property value is probably staying around the same.
Yeah, they're like, well, we got a Starbucks.
We got a Starbucks.
No, I don't know if they
We're
did
winning.
or not. That's so funny. That's crazy. But that's awesome. You're like, maybe we didn't read Del Norte.
Del Norte. Like, is that the right place?
That's awesome, dude. Now we were in Telluride. Katie was my fiance. She was like 20-something weeks pregnant, and we were in Telluride. Her grandma owns a T-shirt shop out there, and we were looking at property. We're like, maybe we should live here, you know. And then all of a sudden, we're looking at house prices. I was like, you got to be kidding me! 2-bedroom, 1 bath on Main Street, $6 million. I'm like, this is insane, bro. I'm like, that's just something I've never even seen before, man. Like in a small mountain town. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but
no, I lucked out.
Yeah.
The entire, man, like we were talking about monetization, but like the entire, the mountain life, it's like the beach life. It got sold out last and all the cool places to live, but it's going fast. It's going fast.
Oh,
and
man.
like every little piece of land, and like we're talking about 9 tribes and community. It's like this community doesn't know how to work with the real estate economical growth on top of how to keep a community simultaneously.
Right.
It's like you guys are constantly throwing fucking wrenches into the gears about good
Positive
housing.
movement. Yeah,
yeah,
positive
like
movement for the
something
community.
reasonable housing for people. Like if you guys don't do it, like we were forced to buy housing for our own employees.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we rent out a condo
Well, isn't that
or a
crazy?
townhouse for a 3-bedroom condo so I can have 3 cooks no matter what.
That's-
No matter what happens, I will always have 3 cooks. And it's going to suck sometimes, but I'll at least always will have those 3 people.
See, and that's chess, not checkers, man. And that's what's really, wrong. So the other place I grew up was Breckenridge. And the, part of the snowboard, mecca. If you're going to be a snowboarder, you move to Breck. So we were like creating a whole industry when we lived there from the time I was like 19 till fucking I left in 20. Oh man, it was whatever. And one of the things that we were talking about was that there's no housing, but there's empty homes everywhere.
Yeah, because
And-
you could be rich and fucking
and-
not be there.
But then, having to have 3 jobs just to pay rent there. But that was the craziest part is everybody partied so hard that we were starting to talk, and there was there's an epidemic of mental illness, and a lot of my friends committed suicide while I lived there. And like having a sober Sunday, going to the park and watching movies sober, eating, having a potluck with the community garden, things like that would bring our community closer together. obviously we wouldn't be making revenue off of booze, but we would be making revenue off of, people.
Hold that thought. I think this is going really well, so I think we should keep going. But I gotta
Okay.
piss.
All right. Yeah, let's pause, man.
I don't think there's a pause.
Okay.
I don't think there's not an easy way to pause.
All right.
There's like the clap system. So I know that this clap I need to listen to, and then when we get back,
Okay.
and I'll re-edit,
Awesome.
and I'll just keep it going.
Yeah, brother. No, man, I'm stoked on this thing.
That's fun, right?
Hell yeah.
Really get into it, or you kind of get it's easy to get lost.
Hell yeah, man. No, there's other, like, I have a couple subjects that we should, on the next one, super talk about. Yeah, man, I think, we should just build off of this and do it man. That'll be fucking fun.
I just ran for minute or hour 15 since their restart.
Oh, shit.
So we can get this wrong last time. Shit. All right. All right. That's what I'll cue up, and we'll edit the video. Nothing was said that anyone would care about missing.
Nobody
but
even cares.
you were talking about like Mountain Town mental illness, and like
Yeah.
I think a big part, and I wanted to say something about it, is that people don't know about is that like when you do that big business corporate thing and you force people to work that hard, it's not going to be good on like anyone's psyche. Like how do you feel good about it if you can't even go snowboarding?
Right. And that
Like
was,
it's costing me everything and I can only go one day a week. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why did I move here?
literally, Vail Resorts are crooks. And I'll say it, and I'll be the first one to say it, and really, because I lived it. I got employee housing, right? So they give me a deal.
Yeah.
But then I would be there for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, but you'd only get paid for 5. You'd only get paid for 6 hours a day if you were working. So if you
Shit.
show up, you have to show up at 8.
That's
in
how much the
morning.
employee housing was taking out of your check?
Well, and then you'd get a $0 paycheck. So you're
Motherfucker.
working literally working like 40 hours a week, and your entire paycheck's gone. So then if you don't go into town and get a second job,
Right.
you're starving.
I wonder,
and-
like, I feel like they fixed that. They had to have fixed that.
Dude, it's...
It has to be semi-better.
Well,
like, they still continue to do business and still have employees.
Well, and that's the thing is there's going to be another round of people to show up. And
Right.
then they have visas.
And they J1, yeah.
Oh, yeah, their visas, and that's the craziest part. So I ended up, having a couple other jobs. Dude, I baked cookies. That was like my, dude, it was awesome. It was the best job ever, dude.
I get to you baking
Dude,
cookies. Like,
Mary's
I'm knocking this out. Check these cookies out.
Yeah, Mary's Mountain Cookies, man. And so I'd bake cookies, go rip on my snowboard all the rest of the day, come back, party, and then go bake cookies, dude.
Nice.
It was like the best life. It was, come home stinking like cookies, man. You couldn't be bummed about that, man. But that's the hard part is that that shit builds up on people when they can't afford life.
Right.
Like they get a $0 paycheck for a 40-hour week, dude.
Well, that lack of women.
Well,
tons of the no connection.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all your connections are getting cut. Like, you can do a lot. Like, a lot of people do fine with, living in the mountains, but you have to have all those other things. You got to have friends. You got to have a life.
But the drugs and then the alcohol, and that was the biggest thing. And I've lost some really, really good friends because of the numbness, man. Like, you're going to have to deal with it anyway. You don't get away from it. So if you're just numbing it out, and you don't deal with it, it's going to build up on you. And that was what I saw was, friends that really I thought were well put together, spent like the day with them, and then the day after they check out, and I'm like blown away that, I didn't know.
Right.
Like they hit it so well, but that was like, we couldn't talk about it. And that's where I was super bummed that I didn't give the permission, which it's weird because you don't know that you need to give permission to somebody to talk about mental illness, but they do. I mean, they think it's weakness, and it's
yeah,
not.
and that's something that we actually, our age level has been brought up to think.
Right.
It's a scary thing. It's like maybe, and maybe we're teaching kids now too much of that. Like, oh, talk to new baby about all your problems. It's like there's a weird in between that we never got taught. Like, I guarantee you I never got taught that. I was just like, when push came to shove, it was like, bury it.
Right.
Like, and that's something that it's not good for anyone. Don't bury it.
Yeah.
Dude, this thing started making a lot of noise all of a sudden.
Oh, man. No, but that is like the scariest part is that when you're told not to feel.
Right?
Like, dude, your body's made perfect.
Get up.
Yeah, you're supposed to cry.
Get over it.
You're supposed
and
to
like,
laugh.
when people are telling you to fucking just get over it or bury it. Like my dad would always, I hope he doesn't get to this part of the podcast, hour and 20 minutes. He would always, like, he would occasionally, like, he just bury things oddly. And like how he dealt with situations, just like, you can tell that is because it was like this type of, like this, I was going to say remorse, but it was a type of thing that was like embedded into him. That's like, this is how I deal with things.
Right.
And at his age, you can really tell
it takes
how,
a toll,
like this is how he's going to always deal with things. Yeah. Like, it took me a lot to like open up to like, just be honest and just be open about pretty much anything these days. Like, maybe not on the podcast, but like in general, like you can ask me what you want to, and I'll tell you. Like, if you really want the honest answer and you want to know about like what I did when, things where I was uncomfortable and on shit like my depression. Right. Like, I'll tell you.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
And that's rare these days to be, I guess, I think it's like almost ashamed.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are ashamed that they're like at that point, but it's not, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. I think everybody's at a point has been fed up, you know, but it's fed up with having to bury it.
Right.
Like if you could just cry every day that you felt sad and just get over it,
or
smile every day, or
just have someone to talk to.
Or just let
sad.
it out. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you got to have a fucking little. You have to prime it, man. Like, you can't just let it just build up. You're gonna explode.
Right.
I mean, that's literally that's the crazy thing. But that's with my dad. Like, I barely had a relationship with him when I was a kid. It was just the authoritarian. Like, oh shit, dad's here. Act straight, act right, and do great in sports, do great in school, do exactly what you're supposed to do. Great man, dude. Your dad's gonna be pissed. My dad's a captain of the fire department, dude. Like. He was my idol when I was growing up, dude. And I always wanted to make him proud. But then I never had a relationship with him, And then when I felt like crying, I didn't cry to him. I didn't cry to anybody. I just tough guy, sucked it up, dude. And I have 2 of my brothers passed away, and that was like one of the hardest things for me. But we were like, just be tough, just toughen up. And I was like, you don't talk about this shit. And that was what's weird. These days, I'm able to talk to, my partner, Katie, and be able to really open up and really, and then even my friends, I'm able to talk to my boys and really talk about stuff. And, even Gary, he helped, I think, break down a lot of barriers. Amanda helped break down a lot of barriers. I mean, our whole crew, those are sensitive subjects.
Right.
You should be able to share your feelings and understand, what the realistic feelings are. I mean, you can't just bury it and be like,
and
suck it up.
like I'm a rock. But yeah, exactly. That's at some point you're gonna break, and they're like that's I believe it's like one of the biggest issues with a lot of people right now, and like you can't like depression oriented stuff is just it's a scary subject, but not being able to talk about it is even worse.
Even worse, dude.
Not being able to work through your problems with somebody and it has to cost you money. Like,
dude, right.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like I don't have the money to get the mental care that I need. And, and then my friends don't understand it anyway because they're afraid to talk about it. So, it's a vicious cycle. I mean, you look at the military, I mean, we train them to become literally just following direction. And every single soldier I've ever spoke to in my entire world has always said this to me. I'm only fighting for my brother beside me.
Yeah.
So whatever the cause is, whatever the whole political understanding is, it's not what they even give a shit about. It's about protecting each other and coming home.
Right.
And when they do get home, they're completely fucking forgot about it. And that's the hardest part for me to be like, dude, I'm proud to be an American. But that's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, man. And we just don't give a shit, and we don't.
No, we basically take for granted everything that they do. But at the same time, it's like I was just talking to someone yesterday about that and how he literally he told me what he did over there, and I'm just like, oh, he basically built a bank, set up an entirely different system and everything for these people, and did a lot of stuff for these. It's like, and then it's like. Yeah, but when you say it like that, it kind of takes the patriotism out of it because it's not for us. Like, it's not for them. It's not for their well-being. It's for the other people's well-being. It's like, and then you talk about like really drastic things. Like they did like important things for countries. We talk really drastic things where you're like doing something really intense and like, and then how do you, when your community is your brothers and you come back and you guys get separated,
then
who do you talk to? Yeah. Who is that? Like, where's your boy at? How do you take care of coming back to here?
And they don't know what you're going through.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you say to somebody if they've never experienced that type of like intensity of anything. Yeah, dude. That's the scary part, like to truly feel alone. And, well, and that's so my dad, my sister's dad. His name is Robert Wagner, dude. He's actually in military, like he's in history books. He arrested Noriega in Panama.
What?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
He has a sidearm in like his boots and has like this whole jar of like shells and stuff. But one of the things is they had this propaganda where he and his platoon were holding down.
The glass is so loud.
Holding these people just at gunpoint, but the photographer sent it over and said that they had killed these people, and it was just propaganda. So it just really got me thinking about just what is real, what is not real. I mean, and then Trump's like totally exploiting the shit out of it, but the whole fake news thing, it's where do you go to get anything?
None of it's good.
Valuable.
I'm going to be honest with you,
man.
and I try to listen to both sides, but the fact is that both sides have an agenda. So when you have an agenda, and especially right now, it's killing me. Is like I know that Trump says a lot of stupid shit.
Well, it's just.
But you're not getting good information
ever
from either.
Yeah. And there's no, I mean, Walter Cronkite came on.
A little bit from a Republican side.
Well, I think that people need to really stop being emotional as far as that. Well, we run off emotions. We don't run off of facts.
Right.
The facts don't matter. It's just my emotion. It's how I feel. It's how I vote. Which, dude, like nobody needs to know the Dewey Decimal System anymore.
Right.
Which is weird. Like, I used to have to wait for weeks to check out a book because somebody was so enthralled with it, and I was like, I want to know that book. But now it's everywhere, and you don't know what.
Knowledge is on the tip of your fingers.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew this about me, but I'm a big deal because I'm a Yelp reviewer. You know, like, dude, like, that's everybody.
Do not
is
get me started on Yelp.
Yeah, right. But that's what people think is like my opinion is so valuable, and you're saying things to just invoke an emotion, not even giving true information. Like, what was it? That speech by JFK, 1962. Secrecy is repugnant. I don't know if you've listened to that speech.
No, I haven't.
That will blow your fucking mind how relevant it is to this day of asking for the media's help to inform the American people, not just to entertain. And I think that's what we're doing now is entertainment. We're not really informing people, giving them the option to make their own opinion.
Right.
You know, the give me information, that's what I need. That's it. Don't entertain me. I want information. Bore the shit out of me with facts. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is how it unfolded.
It's even scarier. It's like that exact same thing is happening through teaching.
Right.
We're avoiding subjects.
Dude, which is insane.
Because we don't want to elicit fucking things. And now these kids that shouldn't have a fucking word to say about anything.
Right.
Because they haven't dealt with shit.
Well,
now that's so important. Like, now they are so important. Like, and everything I have to say, I'm like, you're fucking 16.
Right.
You're
You don't know
nothing.
shit.
There's nothing that's more important than what that teacher's saying. And then those teachers, and it was like, oh, it's fucking rampant because those teachers were the ones who were brought up by the parents that were fighting for something.
Right.
Now, these teachers have to be the ones to be fighting for something new. And they have this weird ass fucking shit. Like, just to bring something up from this town, we fired a superintendent from this town.
Who's that?
God damn it, now I forgot his name. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, this makes it hard to cheers. Horns. But he was strategically trying to do something good for this county. The problem is that the teachers did not like his approach to it, or his 3-year plan. So that 3-year plan went out was so bad to the teachers, which was a bunch of people that weren't from here.
Right.
Bunch of people that I don't even know who the fuck they were. They had zero cause except for their job.
Yeah. There was no investment.
You made it hard
Yeah.
for us. And it was like, you guys make it hard for this teachers right now because there's no community. They can just go anywhere else. Like, and then your kids. I was talking to a kid that's that just finished up school. Oh, sorry, maybe it was a while ago. Different teacher every year.
Right.
Had zero teachers throughout all 4 years. That's insane.
That's
no one.
So crazy.
Yeah, no one to really care for you, nurture you through these years.
I saw you go through this, and how are you doing this year? How are you doing this next year? I saw your growth. I saw your potential, and I'm so proud of you.
Right.
Dude, my neighbor is Dr. Spencer. You know, our
teacher.
So that's my
Spence.
neighbor. Yeah, Spence.
Yeah,
Dude, she is amazing.
Miss Spencer.
Mrs. Spencer.
He's a
Well,
doctor.
Dr. Spencer.
I was like, who the
Dr.
fuck
Spencer
is
now.
Dr. Spencer? She's a doctor now?
Yeah, she's
What?
she's wicked smart.
She is. She's
But,
crazy smart.
Her whole family's wicked smart.
Right.
Like geniuses, dude. Like genius level. All of them.
Yeah. I ran into this with Spence, or one of the
Was it Joel Spencer, right? One of her kids?
Zach. And then
Zach
Joel was
and
the older
Joel,
one.
Yeah. Joel, I know Joel because he was older.
Yeah.
But those kids are wicked smart.
Right? Yeah, they were
Yeah.
always super intelligent.
But yeah, those teachers care about you.
Right? They want to see you do well.
She said something that was funny. She was like, "You weren't the smartest kid, but you tried hard."
Right?
I was like,
Thanks.
"Thank you."
Yeah, thanks.
But,
that was a little hurtful, but I'll take that.
I was like, dude, I was like dyslexic, dude, but I was like, man, I understand numbers because it made patterns. And those things made sense to me, but English never made sense to me because there was always an exception.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know shit about that, but
No, I was the same way.
Yeah.
I was really good at math, but I wasn't good at paying attention in any other subject.
Yeah.
I was fucking shit. But you put me in front of a computer, I was good.
Yeah.
Like, I was always really good in front of a fucking computer.
Mrs. Michaels, dude, the typing teacher, at one point I had broken both wrists, and she's like, dude, you really hate my class that bad? I'm like, I swear to God. I was like, no. I'm like, I just fall all the time.
She was really intense. I never really minded her after the typing class, though. I was like,
yeah. No, she was cool,
really
man.
nice. Yeah, she was
one
intense in that class, but like, it was just something, no one was doing typing
but like
class.
you were saying, like Mrs. Naylor, I mean, dude, like teachers that have been there for the long haul.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to be in love with being a teacher now these days because you don't get paid shit.
Right.
You know, like you really have to enjoy what you do to become a teacher, or you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right. And that's another thing is like, you don't really think about it's easy to go through life and think about like how you can call the police and they'll just show up. You can call a fire department, they'll just show up. But we can't even put our kids through school.
Right. Isn't that crazy, man? Like that.
Like nothing has been built into the system yet. Like it's falling apart worse.
Well, even look at like Becky DeVos. I mean, dude, that lady is just a crook in herself. I mean, her whole business is
you can stretch that out, man.
Privatized
this thing all moves.
Fucking schooling. You know, like that's the craziest part is her whole family makes her money off of privatization of schools.
Right.
So you don't think her agenda is to get rid of public schools?
Right.
And then you look at Chicago, they closed 16 public schools, and they're wondering why murder rates are going up.
Yeah, there's no one to fucking lead.
Yeah, you're like, dude, duh.
Creating losers.
But then you go build the Delta Center with, tax money, and you just don't. I mean, yeah, it is from the ground up and from the top down. It's really not as good as it should be or could be.
Right.
I just think there's people that are so complacent or just lazy. They're like, it doesn't affect me. I don't need to engage.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Well, in big city, they're asking no one to.
Yeah.
You're literally asking no one to do that in a big city. At least in a small town, you have that sense of community.
How the fuck is Mitch McConnell still in fucking office?
Right.
That motherfucker doesn't do shit. Ever. Dude, the guy never shows up to work. And when he does, he's like, nope, I'm not doing it. Like, that blows my mind. And Kentucky is one of the worst poverty-stricken fucking states in the United States. And that motherfucker doesn't do anything. Like, he really doesn't do anything. He will, like, hold shit down and not progress it.
Right.
And, dude, that is not the leadership. And why should we have 40-year congressmen, senators? Dude, you're bought. You're bought after 40 years. You don't give a fuck. You're just collecting a check. Well, come on, man. You need somebody in there that really is energized, that really cares.
Right,
that really
younger.
That wants some change. These guys are so complacent.
Politicians are like, oh, I could just do this. Like, it's like the powdered wig thing. It's just like, I just get to make your decision. It's like king and lords. And like, dude, that's not where we're at anymore.
I mean,
we're witnessing is one of the biggest turning points of probably this country will ever see is because of Trump. Because Trump literally changed the progress of what
we needed this. To happen.
Exactly. Of how anyone views politics.
Dude, we needed it to go this far horrible for people to wake the fuck up and understand that, dude, it's not the left or the right. It's the entire system needs to be re-looked at and understood that, dude, you are supposed to speak for us. You're supposed to.
Now they only speak for lobbyists and
exactly.
drug companies,
like corporations
and oil.
Bought out. I mean, just look at the bailouts. I mean, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. That they sit here and they bitch about immigrants. They bitch about public services and all this other welfare things. But look at the bailout that we did. That's fucking subsidies. That's welfare.
Right.
We just gave you money because you fucked up your own business and you fucked up everybody else's lives, and we bailed you out.
Right.
We didn't get bailed out. People lost their homes. Like, people lost their fucking livelihood.
And not being able to allocate funds correctly.
Right.
Like, you're not willing to change a small percentage of anything to fix one other thing.
And if you're looking at it, I mean, that bailout could have paid off student debt.
Yeah.
Could have paid for colleges.
It could have put a lot of homeless people back into back into real life.
Our military, we could have revamped the whole fucking,
Mental health.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that part just blows my mind.
I think you know what sucks about this is like we're looking at it from like I always look at politics as like a petri dish, like looking at it like what's really wrong with it, what's really on the outside, and like you can go really in depth with somebody and they'll have their fucking side, and it's like, you know, it's not the point. It's like the point is that we're doing something wrong from ground zero. It's not about like you need to start revamping from some other location. Like you guys want to do this little step. Yeah. But it's a large step that you need to take to fix all of this.
Oh, and that's what's really cool about having Trump in office is it just really blew the lid off of it because everybody was doing it behind closed doors.
Right.
And now he's just the most flagrant person ever.
And honestly, I don't. Yeah. And the longer he's been in office, the less I mind him. If I don't, as long as I don't have to read his tweets.
Well, that's the thing is like I'm just more numb to it.
Cancel his tweets out. You would never have to think.
Well, that he was doing anything bad. I'm like waiting to where it's coming back to where the biggest scandal was Obama wearing a tan suit. You know, that was headline news, man. That was like insanity back then.
I feel like there was a thing about Obama, dude. Like he had said something against same-sex marriages.
Yeah, I don't, dude.
Like I'm just saying, like every politician at some point is forced to say something against what they were told to say.
But that's the thing is,
like I want the politician that's going to be honest through and through. Yeah, that's going to be fucking not put in front of cue cards.
Yeah, not a puppet.
Like this is not an SNL skit. We're not going to tell you what to do. You need, and that's something that probably the 60s and 70s were really rocking at, because these were people who were like, this is what we're talking about. But that's also what they had something. The United States had everything in common. Yeah, we were at war. We had to deal with. Vietnam was a bit rough, but like before that, we had this big thing that everyone was focused on.
Well,
no matter what.
The people.
And you had smaller population, a lot less people that could not care about it.
Well, but it was like because the middle class exploded. I mean, it was single family incomes back then, and you could live off that. You could have 2 cars, a home, you could go to college and be paid for off of a career. Yeah. Like there was a career. We had manufacturing, we had jobs, we had all that stuff here. And then they started, capitalism just took over and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and more, we haven't increased wages. We haven't increased any of that, but we've increased production. Right. Like we've increased people, pay. Everything is way more expensive, but nothing inflation has never caught up with what we've been paying. And I mean, it boils down to where we just don't give a shit about the next person.
It's all back to your how do you earn your paycheck? Do you earn your heart? Do you earn your? Do
you step on people to get it, or do you give back? To
exactly.
Get it,
and I think I really do think that we're getting back to that. Yeah. You can see it in smaller communities and in smaller counties, mostly.
Well, and that's what's
cool
about
right now, if you could just lock into those, like you can see it in Denver too. It's like everything is working into small communities, and it's younger adults, and it's that community thing is starting to come back slightly, but it needs to come back like full force.
Denver is a way younger city now. Yeah, I mean, obviously the weed thing really. Was crazy.
It did everything for it.
Yeah, it really did supercharge the economy, and it's cool, man. And I don't have a problem with it. Everybody always asks, like, "Are you bummed?" And even moving here, people are bummed about what the things going on, and I'm like, I think progress is good, but we need to keep true to our roots. But we do need to progress. I mean, why not? I mean, we do need to make better roads, bridges, schools, infrastructure, like everything like that. We should do that, but obviously not give up on what we planned, like Gold Rush days, Fireman's Days, Pancake Breakfast.
Pancake Breakfast fucking failed last. I feel like it did not do very well last year.
We're not doing it.
Right? We need to be involved.
We need to be involved with it. I mean, I'll go.
All right, let me know.
Dude,
I'll be there in the morning.
I don't even know how to do it, but
dude, I could fucking make pancakes all damn day. I'll make you fucking Mickey Mouse.
Dude,
fucking all day.
Exactly.
How are you going to flip that? You just watch. I have 2 hands.
I got hands. And that's the thing is like just keep those things true, and keep things they're
Simple.
dude, and don't. I mean, and it's funny because my dad is bummed about a lot of this growth, but at the same time, I'm like, your property values are going up. Like your business is still here,
Right?
They
And you're still here.
Yeah.
Like you're still here. You didn't get forced out because of it.
Right.
No one's getting forced out because of this unless you want to be forced out for it.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing well and your business is doing well, like that's fucking great.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
like I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to be in the middle of this as it grows around me.
Right.
Like,
But
it's
I'm
not
gonna
like
participate.
I'm going to be in the middle, though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in the fucking fringes,
Right.
and I'm not going to allow something like this to push me out to the fringes. Like,
Right.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, participate.
Like,
That's the thing,
because that's saying you're going to go stand with the people that just moved here. Like, no. Why the fuck? I don't even know these fucking people. Why would I stand with those people?
Yeah.
Like, fuck those people.
I got roots.
Until they prove that they're part of this community, I don't know who you are.
Right. And that's
Start proving who you are, and then you start building something that's completely different. You start rebuilding something that should have that we grew up with.
Right.
That
And that's
isn't here right now.
keeping it true, man. Like,
Yeah.
the horseshoe tournament and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's what 20-something years? I didn't
Yeah,
even know
it's
that.
nuts.
I mean,
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I really want to jump into that, but I'm always
man.
like Saturday is like hardest
was
thing.
fun. So it was
hardest
crazy.
days to do.
Me and my dad got on the same team because they just draw
Nice.
numbers, right? So me and my dad, and then Stu.
Random?
Yeah, random. Which, it was crazy.
Duran. God
Yeah.
damn.
For sure, dude. It was so funny. And then Lyle Wooler's son and his grandson were on the same team.
Uh-huh.
And then we versed them. So it was Duran, and the Durans and the Woolers versing each other. And I got a photo of it, and it was it was epic, man. It was
Right.
because we've been doing it for so long. Like
Right.
my grandparents are in the Hall of Fame for the horseshoe tournaments. Like my grandpa Duran, and then it was me and my dad are coming up, and then Lyle Wooler's son and his grandson are coming up, and then we got on the same team and had it, dude. It was cool.
Nice.
But me and my dad won.
Nice.
No, it was cool, man. It was like
There's nothing wrong with a healthy competition. You can't just
man.
give out free rewards for shit.
I mean, we didn't win anything, but we won that. We won that match.
Do you hear this shit? They don't even like kids soccer. They're not even counting score anymore.
What?
No,
Then
one.
how do you know who wins?
Exactly.
Like-
Parents are fucking yeah. I'm sorry. When you're really young, that's one of the fucking most important things you need
I
to
think
learn.
so, man. Like honestly, there's a goal.
Yeah.
And then you work as a team and you try to accomplish something.
Right.
And dude, if you lose, you should lose with grace. And if you win,
Right.
you should win with grace.
Parents are going to teach. They don't have to teach you to lose with grace if you all win.
Yeah, kids are pussies. They don't know how to take an L.
No, I'm blaming parents, man.
Yeah.
Fuck the kids. The kids don't know what the fuck they're
You
doing.
should learn how to take an L.
But
Man.
if
That's why kids are
if
so fucked up. When
mom
they get
and dad
older.
isn't going to be like, oh, you did great, even though you lost.
Yeah,
Like
that's cool.
that's a good thing, right?
that's
Like,
cool.
hey, better luck next time.
Yeah.
Those phrases are going out of people's vocabulary, or just like they don't know about those phrases because
who
I don't
won?
want my kids to feel that way. I don't want my kids to feel lost. Like when your kids hit 21 and they're fucking out of fucking college and they didn't feel lost once,
Oh man, that's
motherfucker, they're
scary.
gonna have some weird ass shit, and that's
Yeah.
why we're
Mass
where we are.
shootings and just
Yeah.
the most insanity, dude. Like, yeah, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Dude, teach your kid how to take an L, man. That's probably the best thing you could do for your kid, and just be okay with it, man. Your kids
Okay.
are not gonna always be a winner.
I guarantee those kids, like most of these people, that's doing something bad, had zero life and community around them,
No, and that
and
is
like little
true.
to none.
Well, and there's no accountability. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, yeah, your parents are just like
They're just
fucking
there.
cocooning you and just being like, "Oh, you're fine. You're amazing. You're the best thing ever."
Don't
And
listen
then
to those kids.
You get
You're
out
not a
into the
loser.
big world, and you're like, "I'm really not that special." You're
Right.
like, dude, what makes you special is that how hard you try.
Right?
That dude. I would rather talk to somebody who tries every day and is not afraid to fail than somebody who's just been like, "Oh, mom, dad got it. Don't worry about it."
Right?
Dude, you're like, what?
Well,
That's
fuck,
so
man.
weird.
Let's end with that.
There you go. Done.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Yeah, brother.